Y'all hear Trump's giving us $2,000 checks? Sorry, liberals, it's gonna be for patriots only.
And those Doge checks we were promised earlier this year, Doge has been doged, according to Reuters and several other media outlets.
Mean Doge say they never existed. The Doge that accessed millions of taxpayer information and said they were cleaning up the federal government? Elon Musk and his...
Now someone please explain to me how you're gonna get a Doge dividend check when Doge no longer exists.
U.S. President Donald Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, or Doge, doesn't exist anymore.
Now if you want to make 1 + 1 = 2, you can just automatically assume this is the perfect time of why Elon Musk decided he was just gonna let MAGA know, hey, those little cult MAGA accounts on Twitter that you've been following, you know, X, they're not from America. They are.
Doge employees are reportedly terrified they're about to face criminal prosecutions after Elon Musk abandoned them.
And yes, MAGA now is crying. They was expecting that Doge check, but we liberals know that check wasn't going to come any way possible. But please stay towards the end because this video is gonna be really interesting. Please don't forget to drop a like, comment, subscribe to my channel. Help us to support liberal media, subscribing to my channel. I just noticed that some people tell me, Jenny, I didn't know that I wasn't subscribed to your channel. And I tell them, you know, just make sure that you are subscribed and then activate the notification bell. That way you don't miss any of my videos, because sometimes I try to publish my videos around 2 p.m. but it comes, you know, the time and it's not ready. So sometimes I publish my videos a little bit later. So activate the notification bell, that way you don't miss any video, and stay towards the end.
We have some news right now. Americans are never going to get a $5,000 Doge stimulus check. Remember back in February of this year, Donald Trump announced that he was considering a plan that would essentially give many Americans checks of up to $5,000 as part of a stimulus from all the cuts that Doge was going to make to the United States government. Well, Doge, as we saw yesterday, according to Reuters, has since been completely disbanded. Elon Musk promised to cut $1 trillion in government spending. They only cut about $8 billion, and a lot of those cuts came to public broadcasting like PBS. And many Americans were, in a way, fooled by the president, who claimed earlier this year that we would be getting these Doge stimulus checks. I saw a lot of videos saying that people are excited for $5,000. You're never going to get it, because Doge no longer exists. And I think it's important that people know that you got sold a false bag of goods. Spread the word, follow along, stay up to date on all the news that you need to know about. There'll be much more to come soon.
For all intents and purposes, Doge is done. The Department of Government Efficiency as an actual entity within the federal government is no more. That's according to the government's top HR official, who confirmed over the weekend that 8 months ahead of the date it was supposed to wrap up under the executive order that created it, Doge is over. The Elon Musk-led agency, you'll remember, axed tens of thousands of jobs from the federal government in the early months of this year, but it lost quite a bit of its mojo when Musk himself left the government in May. He said at the time that Doge would continue as an office in the government and as kind of a governing philosophy, but now that office is closed.
Mean Doge say they never existed. The Doge that accessed millions of taxpayer information and said they were cleaning up the federal government? Elon Musk and his terrorist team? What do you mean they're saying they don't exist? They never existed. It sounds like the Trump administration and Elon Musk realized they might be in some trouble, as they say that Doge never existed. Same Doge that just went through everyone's information. Same Doge that had people walking them out of executive buildings. Y'all remember that? How Doge was locking politicians out of their buildings, changing passwords, encrypting taxpayer information? They're now saying they never existed, which is crazy because I can remember. They had those 8 months left in its mandate to end what they called wasteful taxpayer usage of government funds. All of a sudden, it was quoted, they don't exist. The Office of Personnel Management Director Scott Cooper told multiple people earlier this month when they asked about the status of them. They started in January, going across Washington, literally locking people out of federal buildings, cutting jobs, and doing what the y'all saw them do. So how they don't exist is crazy. Actually, a lot of the people from Doge are now under something called National Design Studio that was, could not forget what the fuck did.
You remember all those people who defended Doge and said that it was going to make this country wealthy again? It was going to root out all of the fraud, waste, and abuse, and that money's going to come flowing back into this country. Why is Doge disbanding 8 months ahead of their contract? I thought they were supposed to bring in billions to trillions of dollars into this country. What happened to Elon? I don't think I've heard Trump say the word Doge in months, let alone anyone online who is supportive of it. If you haven't gotten it by now, it was a scam from the beginning.
I guess we're not getting those Doge checks we were promised earlier this year. Doge has been doged. According to Reuters and several other media outlets, Doge doesn't exist anymore. They weren't even halfway through their quote-unquote contract. Did someone at the White House finally figure out that it costs more money to have an organization like Doge versus the money that they supposedly found? They didn't find shit. They didn't save it. They laid a bunch of people off for no reason whatsoever. They saved America zero money. They found America zero money. They found next to zero fraud. This is a Facebook friend of mine, Kelly. He's actually a good dude. We spar back and forth. It's fun. But earlier this week, he goes, how about with some of this newfound money from Doge? There's no money, Kelly. And all the people that weren't supposed to be collecting Social Security and everything else, blah, 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 blah. I know it's a big nonsense. They didn't find fraud in Social Security. I sent Kelly here a couple links of some news articles that proved there was no fraud found in Social Security. I do like his idea here, free lunch for all. Yes, Kelly, but there was no funds found in Doge, Kelly. And guess what, Kelly? Doge doesn't exist anymore. Barely 9 months into this idiot's term. And Doge already does not exist anymore. I love to hear how they're going to spin this one. How are they going to spin this one? Oh, well, we found everything, and he's going to, 17 trillion, 17 gazillion, he's just going to throw numbers out there and hope everyone forgets about it. Ladies and gentlemen, Doge was a scam. It was a grift, just like everything else this asshole has done his entire life. Just go down here to the last paragraph. Officer of Personal Management Director Scott Cooper told Reuters earlier this month when asked about Doge's status, this doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. America, 9 months into dictator Trump's presidency, and Doge no longer exists. Where's those Doge checks we were promised, by the way, huh? Are we getting them?
That Doge has found quite a bit of money, and we would like to see some of that returned to the American people. Do you have any information on when Doge checks would be written or sent out?
Sure. Well, I guess we need to be successful at scale. We've made a lot of progress, but there's still a tremendous amount of work to do. Effectively, as government spending is made more efficient and spending is reduced, the tax via inflation is reduced. So one way or another, you will effectively be better off if resources in the United States are not wasted. And it's somewhat up to the Congress and maybe the President to as to whether specific checks are cut. But whether a check is cut or not, if you reduce wasteful spending, the economy is going to be better off. People will do more useful jobs than before. The total output of goods and services will increase, and then the average standard of living will increase. So that's yeah. I think the most important lesson in economics is simply common sense, that the more people in a country that are engaged in producing useful products and services, the better off that country will be. Like you could run the sort of thought experiment to say, in the limit, if we moved everyone in the car industry into the DMV, there would be no cars, but there would be a lot of regulators. So then you say, well, okay, well, then how many people should be in the government versus not government? And generally, I think you want to minimize the number of people in government. There's still, be a lot of people in government, but you want to keep that to a minimum and move people from low to negative productivity roles to high productivity roles in the private sector. Yeah.
Brainless MAGA doesn't know anything about economy. They don't know, with inflation that we already have, if the government give us $5,000, the $5,000 that the government will give us, it will get lost with the inflation, because that will increase even more the inflation. We already have a really high inflation. Biden used to have a really big inflation, and now with Donald Trump we have more inflation than before, and $5,000 on the top of the inflation that we already have, that will explode the inflation. So we know Donald Trump, he's always lying, okay? The orange buffon, he tells 100 lies and 1 true. So we did know that that money, it wasn't going to come. And they also talk about it. Oh no, this is the thing, in the circles of MAGA, they've been talking. I laugh so hard. I have a friend that he's like full on MAGA, and I was talking to him, and he just told me, Jenny, thank you to Donald Trump, we are not gonna pay any federal taxes. So in the circles of MAGA, people been talking about that we are not gonna have to pay any federal taxes, because with the tariff, they're gonna take away all the federal taxes, okay? And nobody's gonna pay federal taxes anymore. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about that? That will be a totally unfair system. If the system that we already have is totally unfair, imagine to have only a system where all the taxes get paid by tariff. Can you imagine the very, very rich people like Jeff Bezos, that they hardly, compared to their fortune, they hardly ever buy nothing, okay? Because compared with their fortune, they have a fortune of 500 billion, 600 billions. And how much they can spend every month? Maybe $2 million, and that counting everything. So how much tariff they're gonna pay? Instead, they have a fair system where they get taxed at least 10%. This is what we need to have. We need to just tax these billionaires, like Bernie Sanders always say. At least taxing a flat rate, okay? The top 1%, taxing flat rate, 10%, 5%, whatever it is, because the top 1% pay less in taxes than any teacher, any firefighter. They are the ones that pay less taxes than anybody else. Are you tired of this system where the very rich never pay their fair share? We need to create a system of taxes where they pay their fair share. So stay towards the end, because this is gonna get really interesting.
There's no more, but its consequences will be far-reaching and long-lasting. Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency has officially disbanded, according to Trump regime officials, after they only delivered roughly 10% of their initially promised benefit, $2 trillion in Doge checks to every American for all the waste, fraud, and abuse they find. But even according to their own numbers, they might have only saved about $200 billion, while also causing the largest data breach in American history, as well as being the source of waste, fraud, and abuse that they said they were sent to root out. And many people will talk about the financial ramifications of that decision, but I'm here to talk about the human cost, because over 300,000 federal workers have lost their jobs since the onset of Doge, directly as a result of Doge. And if you'll also recall, USAID was dismantled almost immediately upon Doge storming the various buildings across DC, and it resulted in at least 600,000 deaths worldwide to date. 600,000 people, of which 2/3 are estimated to be children. We're talking nearly 500,000 children are dead.
We have some major news right now. According to Reuters, Doge no longer exists. Yes, I'm serious.
For all it's worth, I did lives on this on DOG.gov. I told you it was front. Nobody believed me. Oh, it's Chitterville. It's the front. New York Times reported this. Struggling with errors, Doge deletes billions more from lists of savings. I reported something from Political LLC saying it saved over $200 million, and the account had been closed for 4 years, meaning the contract was closed for 4 years. You can't save money on a closed contract. So I reported it. Sent it in to the news, and also reported it to the government. Sent it information. USA.gov went in, and things that I sent it directly to the White House. told him that there was something wrong with one of the receipts. But obviously, I wasn't the only one. There must have been a bunch of people. Well, people who have a brain. And this is all this is just a front and a scam. This is from Doge, by the way. If you had any brains, you would have won on there and seen all of them. There was a lot of discrepancies. And then they actually had people that were talking about, oh, they saved everything. And then even who they were hiring, first they were hiring people who were doing coding, and then they were looking for attorneys and production, management people. It's just, the whole thing was a sham. It was just a big goddamn sham. They did all this bullshit lies, telling you all the departments and what they have as far as what they found, is to put up their front so Trump could literally dismantle the United States government and then grift off of it. And all of you deserve what you get, because none of you wanted to do your homework. You were too goddamn lazy. Yeah. Agency, look at the year. It has different spans of year. FY 2019, fiscal year 2019, and so on and so on. And it doesn't even add up if you look at it. And this is why, if they were really hiring auditors, they would have picked this up in 5 minutes. Obviously, the New York Times knew that they were full of shit, like the rest of us. That's all.
Here's how it started.
Thank you so much. Trump has talked about sending out $2,000 checks to U.S. citizens. Earlier this year, he also talked about sending a Doge dividend. That didn't materialize. Should U.S. Citizens expect the $2,000 proposal? Is the White House committed to making that happen?
The White House is committed to making that happen, yes. And we are currently exploring all legal options to get that done. I don't have a timeline for you or any further details, but I can confirm for you that the president made it clear he wants to make it happen. And so his team of economic advisors are looking into it. And
let's get an update on that $2,000 dividend tariff check by President Trump.
Just an update check, sir. How soon can Americans see those checks? Will that be in time for Christmas, holiday shopping?
No, not for this year. It'll be next year sometime.
If you thought you were getting a tariff dividend check, it's not coming.
Yeah, so if you were hoping for that check by this Christmas, I wouldn't hold your breath. In fact, I wouldn't hold your breath for next Christmas either for that $2,000 tariff dividend check.
This is Penny Waters. This is how it started. Now, October 2024, so last year, Penny says, I just voted Trump, baby. And then Penny Waters, November 2024, saying, President Trump, please don't forget about Minnesota when you start deportation. So let's go. Let's get rid of these people. Fast forward to October 2025. This is Penny. Penny saying, Dear Don, I think right now would be a good time for those Doge checks. I'm a 62-year-old widow on a limited income. I really depend on my small amount of food help every month. Yes, I have health issues, so I can't work. Anyway, I voted for you all 3 times. So unhealthy MAGA again and poor MAGA again. These people voted against themselves several times over.
Doge employees are reportedly terrified they're about to face criminal prosecutions after Elon Musk abandoned them. Remember, these guys slashed government programs, eliminated jobs, and accessed sensitive information. Now they're worried that Elon Musk, who of course recruited them, won't step in to save them by appealing to Donald Trump on their behalf should things take a turn for the worse. Noting that Doge staffers have lived with the ever-present fear of backlash, public scrutiny, upset cabinet officials, and even the prospect that someone might assert criminal charges against them. A report notes that there is a growing sense of dread that Musk will no longer champion them if they are subject to investigations. Elon wasn't just their visionary leader. For them, he was their protector, the man who had a direct line to Donald Trump, who they believed could pick up the phone and secure a presidential pardon if the worst came. One of the guys still thinks that Elon is their brother in arms, and another one says, guys, seriously, get your own lawyer if you need it. Elon is great, but you need to watch your own back. It's also being reported that Doge has disbanded. They no longer exist with 8 months left on their mandate. So if I were any of these people who Elon Musk recruited to do criminal things, I would be very worried right now.
Now, someone please explain to me how you're going to get a Doge dividend check when Doge no longer exists.
U.S. President Donald Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, or Doge, doesn't exist anymore.
Now, if you want to make 1 + 1 = 2, you can just automatically assume this is the perfect time of why Elon Musk decided he was just going to let MAGA know, hey, those little cult MAGA accounts on Twitter that you've been following, X, they're not from America. They are foreign entities. You've been falling for propaganda for the last 2 years. So much for your patriotism.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy.
Now, I didn't come up here to say I told you so.
The controversial 8-month initiative was initially led by billionaire Elon Musk, who promised to slash government spending with his chainsaw for bureaucracy.
Doge claimed to have slashed tens of billions of dollars in expenditures, but outside financial experts could not verify those claims, as the unit did not provide detailed public accounting of its work.
But I kind of did.
I mean, these things, like, it's just common sense. It's not draconian or radical.
I remember earlier this year when Donald Trump was first put into office and he had Elon working for Doge, right? Doge was going in, went to the Social Security Administration, had access to all our Social Security numbers and business up in there, right? He went in there, he found out, and he said so many people that was already deceased or was receiving checks and all other type of things. They said once they finished getting all them budget cuts and digging into all the stuff in the Social Security Administration, that Americans will see a Doge dividend. It's what they were going to call it. I know a lot of y'all done forgot, but old auntie don't forget much. It was going to be called a Doge dividend. That was the name of the check that we was going to receive, right? They finished. Y'all know Elon Ben left the White House. He's gone. Him and Trump are actually, beefing. They ain't even friends no more, y'all. And as of yesterday, ironically, y'all, Doge no longer exists. It's not even a thing anymore. Doge no longer exists at all. What happened to the millions and trillions of dollars that y'all cut and found in Doge? Where our Doge dividend? What a check. What a money. What happened to all that money that y'all found? What? Come on now, y'all. I forget a whole lot of things, but I don't forget when they talk about no money. Y'all don't remember them talking about the Doge dividends and how every American will receive some of that money? Where's it? How come Doge no longer even exists anymore? Y'all better stay woke. Open them eyes, because y'all know Auntie be on top of it all, baby. Thank y'all for sipping a limo tea with Auntie. Bye.
Damn, is there anything that's not falling apart in the Trump administration right now? Because I guess Doge just shut down too. That's right, the Department of Government Efficiency apparently wasn't very efficient, and so it's gone 8 months before its contract ends. But the best part, by far the best part, is that all of the former employees are terrified that they're going to be prosecuted. What for, honey? Did you commit crimes? Former and current Doge employees fear that they're at risk of prosecution now that Musk has fallen out of favor with Trump and left the government. Staffers have lived with the ever-present threat of backlash, public scrutiny, upset cabinet officials, even the prospect that someone might assert criminal charges against them. Guys, seriously, one Doge leader warned his colleagues during an early June event that was something akin to a wake, per the publication. Get your own lawyer if you need it. Elon's great, but you need to watch your own back. What was that old saying? If you lie down with dogs, you get up with fleas? Yeah, babe. I think you should have paid more attention to your nursery rhymes.
Oh no! We're not getting the $5,000 stimulus check that was promised to us back in February. No! I could have told y'all that. Y'all peeped this sheet. So, they are starting to come out and tell people, everybody that has been waiting for this little goopy $5,000 stimulus. All y'all motherfucker that, well, he's gonna send us this money. He's gonna send us this. He's gonna send us that. It's not coming, baby. It's not coming. Matter of fact, Doge no longer exists, and even if it did, y'all was not gonna fucking money. I mean, look at what the fuck it done went towards. Oh, I cannot wait to see that beautiful ballroom. Well, why am I not surprised that y'all wig supporters that swore up and down y'all was gonna get this mother paycheck, come to find out y'all didn't. I'm guessing this has started to become norm for Trump supporters, huh?
And this Doge thing, it was just a big waste of money. It cost us $500 million to have Elon steal all federal records, all social security numbers, all the things, all the information that he got out of all these government agencies. Okay, I don't know if all this data he may be selling it to somebody else. He may be selling this data to Russia, China. We just don't know. This is a freaking mess. All the people that work for Doge, they told them, you guys need to lawyer up, because what is coming towards you is gonna be big, okay? Because they committed so many crimes working for Doge that when the orange bouffon is gone, they are up to big trouble, and probably all of them, all the people that work for Doge, they're gonna go to jail.
This is maybe the most humiliating headline for this administration so far. Donald Trump has canceled Doge. He has ended his signature waste, fraud, and abuse program in order to save money. Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, Trump said Doge is going to clean up Washington. It's going to root out fraud, waste, and abuse. We'll cut billions and it'll delete mountains of bureaucracy. And it's just going to be so awesome. It turns out it was a waste of money and it was costing more than what it supposedly was able to save. So they have quietly shut it down without even acknowledging this until reporters said, look, this thing seems to be gone. What is going on here? Nothing anyone could verify was ever achieved by Doge. It was branding. It was Elon Musk. It was tweets. And then when you look into the Elon Musk angle of the entire thing, it's kind of even worse because remember that Doge was built around Elon. Elon promoted it. He posed with props and he says he has a mandate to delete regulations. And then his relationship with Trump completely blows up. He leaves Washington. And of course, Doge just starts to kind of evaporate at the exact same time. And what they didn't want to just say out loud was the project is over. So this is a remarkable humiliation. Trump designed an agency that was going to increase government efficiency by saving money. They were going to run it like a business. And now it's being dissolved for being what we said it was from the beginning, extremely inefficient. They've created the Department of Fixing Leaks, and they didn't find any leaks other than inside their own department. That's the equivalent of what went on here. And now you've got the White House kind of pretending that the entire thing never happened. Trump has suffered a lot of public humiliations, every single foreign trip, every single speech, every single signing ceremony in the Oval Office. But in a sense, this was going to be the trademark, hallmark, signature achievement of Trump's second term. It accomplished nothing, and they wanted it to quietly go away. It became the punchline of its own joke, and now it goes to wherever these ideas go. Never.
Happy Monday morning. So apparently Doge no longer exists. The Department of Government Efficiency that was established somehow at the beginning of Trump's presidency, and then without Senate confirmation or anything like that, Donald Trump put Elon Musk in charge of it, and Elon Musk just started slashing federal spending with the goal of cutting $2 trillion from the federal budget. It was a total bust. Federal spending for 2025 is going to exceed federal spending of 2024, so they had no measurable impact in any way, shape, or form as it related to their stated goals of slashing federal spending. But it no longer exists. Doge no longer exists. I'm going to dig in a little bit more to find out exactly how that occurred. But you just remember the weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks of stories that we heard of 19, 20-year-old kids, these young Doge men like Big Balls and others, would storm into federal offices and just take over and terrorize federal employees who were working there and start firing them and things like that. And as with so many other things in this administration that I've said, you know, I've pretty frequently kind of used the tagline. It's like the incompetence of all of this stuff and just the ham-handed buffoonery of this entire administration, exemplified in things like Doge's early days, would be just comical if they weren't so fucking dangerous. And one of the very first things that Doge did was to eradicate USAID, an organization, a branch that had been around for decades, and, you know, exercising what's called soft power on behalf of the United States. You know, basically like winning hearts and minds, sending medicine and vaccines and food and other services to totally impoverished third world countries and refugee camps all around the world. And I was listening to one of the Pod Save America guys' podcasts the other day, and they had a guy on who knew a lot about this. And one of the stats was that over the last 20 years, USAID had saved 92 million lives around the planet of the world's poorest people. And there was no constituency for doing away with USAID. There was no constituency among voters in the United States demanding that the government do something about USAID. There was no constituency within the federal government or within the Congress to get rid of USAID. Every reasonable person recognized, you know, this is a very low-cost way to project the United States' soft power throughout the world and make us kind of an indispensable nation to so many of these other countries and populations. But Elon Musk did it anyway. And last week or the week before, the New Yorker put out a very lengthy article and like a 25-minute long documentary about how the shutdown of USAID has already hundreds of thousands of people this year. It's estimated that 600,000 people around the world are dead now who were alive at the beginning of the year and whose deaths can be directly linked to the termination of USAID. And about 60% of those people are children. And so that appears to be the most significant accomplishment or impact of Donald Trump and Marco Rubio and Elon Musk terminating USAID. 600,000 people who were alive at the beginning of the year are no longer alive now because of that. 600,000 of the world's poorest people are now dead. So again, it's like the whole Doge thing was fucking hilarious as a concept when it first landed. But this is what they actually got done. They had no impact on federal spending whatsoever. And now it's just disappeared. And I'll tell you what, you know, another thing that I've said relative to any number of people in the executive branch, in the military, in Trump's cabinet, in Doge, the only person who has immunity from criminal prosecution from all of this stuff is Donald Trump, not Elon Musk, not these college kids that Elon Musk brought in like big balls. None of them have immunity from criminal prosecution. So we'll see. If a Democrat wins in 2028, we'll see if that Democrat has the balls to appoint an attorney general who is different in approach than Merrick Garland.
Remember when Elon Musk waved a chainsaw at CPAC in February and promised to cut $2 trillion in government waste?
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy. Chainsaw!
How much do you think we can rip out of this wasted $6.5 trillion Harris-Biden budget?
Well, I think we can do at least $2 trillion.
Well, Doge just disbanded 8 months early, and the numbers tell the story of the biggest grift of Trump's second term. Musk promised $2 trillion in cuts, but according to the Wall Street Journal, federal spending went up by $220 billion this fiscal year. The man with the chainsaw who promised to cut $2 trillion actually increased spending by $220 billion. And while you were watching the chainsaw, Doge was stealing your data. Doge employees gain access to your Social Security records, IRS data, medical records, therapy notes, diagnosis, treatment, student loans, security clearances, background checks. Normally, fewer than 50 people in government can access this information. Doge handed it to unelected tech bros without proper security clearances. Multiple federal judges found Doge violated the Privacy Act of 1974. The Electronic Frontier Foundation called it the largest ransacking of American sensitive data in history. The real cost? Doge's chaos cost taxpayers $135 billion this year. Paid leave for fire workers, rehiring 24,000 people they mistakenly terminated. Their IRS cuts will cost us $500 billion in lost tax revenue over the next decade. So do the math. Spending increase, $220 billion. Doge chaos cost $135 billion. Future revenue lost $500 billion. Your private data stolen. Trump signed an executive order saying Doge will last through July 2026. It's November 23rd, 2025. The Office of Personnel Management Director said that doesn't exist. Gone. 8 months early, just your data in their hands and chaos left behind. This was never about efficiency. This was about access. While Musk waved his chainsaw, Doge built what privacy experts call one big, beautiful database of your most sensitive information without proper security clearances, without safeguards, without your consent. The grift was making you think they were cutting spending, while federal spending increased by hundreds of billions, and they harvested the largest collection of Americans' private data ever assembled outside normal government control. Doge didn't save money. It cost you money. It stole your data, and then it vanished. And your data? It's still out there.
Everybody was in tech and wanted to see Doge succeed. I think we have to be honest in saying that Doge was an absolute failure. Relative to its mission, it accomplished absolutely nothing. Like, the only thing it maybe accomplished was a little bit of transparency into some of like the US aid funds, but even then that had no actual impact on our country, right? Like, Elon left in July and now it's being shut down. What are takeaways from this Doge experiment? Okay, here's what I'm thinking. Number one, there probably isn't as much blatant fraud as a lot of people claim that there was. But, and this leads me to number two, there probably is a good amount of waste and abuse, but nobody actually cares about it. Like, there's all these examples of people coming out and saying the Department of Defense or whatever agency, spends $80 to buy a pen that you could buy $1 for. I fully believe that happens, but they don't care enough to do anything about it. That leads me to number three, which is Doge was never really empowered to make big, impactful decisions because they didn't have congressional support. So then the question becomes, was Doge set up to fail? And I think there's two sides of this. On one side, there certainly were people from the beginning saying, hey, Doge doesn't have full congressional support, they don't have budget authority, they can't really make the big changes that they need to make, and so they're never going to be impactful. With that being said, on the other side, the current administration was obviously supportive of Doge, and the current administration does have both House and Senate majority. So if Doge was ever going to be successful, it would have been in this time when they have the fullest support that they could possibly have. I think at the end of the day, it's a bummer that this didn't work, only for the reason that I think we all want to see the government run more efficiently, provide better services to the citizens and Americans of this country, and reduce the U.S. national debt. But it looks like we'll have to wait for that if it ever comes.
And yes, the intentions never were good. We know what it was all behind that. only to collect data. There wasn't ever, okay, because this is the thing, and I told you guys before, the ones that watch my channel, the ones that are subscribed, you guys know, when you trying to save money, when you trying to see where a certain department or certain company it is wasting money, you just don't go in with people specialized in software and computer. They are not the people, okay, that take care of that. Accountants are the ones that take care of that, okay? Forensic accountants, those are the ones that take care of those kind of things. I was an accountant myself for Informex, when there was part of Oracle for many years, and I worked for different companies as an accountant. And this is not what, you don't take people specialized in software to see if it is waste and fraud. You just don't do that. You get an accountant. That's what you do. For you can just look on the books and see where is the waste. So we know from the beginning that there wasn't no savings at all. They have their own agenda to accomplish the government, the government programs that they cut, supposedly to save money, that was coming with a double agenda, okay? Like all the aid that we send to other countries, okay? Most of the countries that benefit from that aid, many of them are Arab and African countries, okay? We give to those countries all kinds of contraceptive, aid, HIV, medicine. All those things were to waste, and people that is starving, okay, around this planet, that's where that help goes to. And at the same time, it gets like double help, because it helps farmers here in the United States to sell their products. But remember, the United States is a country because we are so advanced in agriculture, we produce more food than what we need. And that program, the USAID program, it helps to provide help for people starving in other countries, but at the same time, it helps our farmers to move the food and be able to sell the extra food that they produce to other countries. So those programs, okay, it is not available anymore, because that was part of the cuts that they have for Dutch, okay, and now people is starving. We let that food to go waste because billionaires decided that poor people cannot eat. This is the point that we are right now. This is the point that we was. I'm so glad that Dutch thing didn't work and it's just over. And still, the people around the world that they needed this help, they still not getting that help. This is just cruelty, okay? I'm telling you guys, the point is the cruelty. It's not about democracy. It's not about anything. It's all about cruelty. Please don't forget to drop a like, comment, subscribe to my channel. Help us to support liberal media. Subscribing to my channel. You guys take care. Thank you. Bye-bye. I just wanted to say, before I say bye, okay, guys, I just wanted to say thank you so much for your super tens. Thank you so much for your Cash App. Thank you so much for your Venmos. Okay, you guys make me feel so appreciated. You guys are the best subscribers on the planet. I'm like a kid in the candy store every time that I get a super tens, a Cash App or a Venmo. I'm not feeling that well. My stomach is really hurting. So I just barely did this video because I just needed to post something today, but I'm not feeling that well. Okay, so you guys take care. Bye-bye.